Alrighty, and we are live. Sorry to everybody out there, just in case we are having a couple of internet difficulties. So I do apologize if this is a little bit slow on your end. My name's Isaac. I am the co-founder of Pet Summits and the host of the Pet Care Report. The mission of this show is to connect pet parents with as many world-leading experts and brands to discover the latest trends, innovations, and essential products for essential pet care. Today, we have a very special guest, Michael Habicht. Uh, he is the co-founder of Healthy Paws Herbal Labs. Always get the mistake with that. Michael has been a pet lover and advocate. Her passion for animals led him on to starting a YouTube channel for pet owners, Michael the Pet's Journey, which is centered towards helping people navigate life as a pet parent. This deep love for animals has led him to co-found his own company, Healthy Paws Herbal Labs, helping pets all around the world. Michael, absolute pleasure to have you on today.
So happy to be here, Isaac. So good to see you. And hello, everybody that's joining us today. And we're here to share some wonderful knowledge today. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, great. So we've spoken many times, and like one of the main reasons, hello, Fran from Facebook. One of the reasons why I really wanted to get you on is, other than your amazing personality, was your really cool story in the background to how you came about creating Healthy Paws Herbal Labs. I'll get it eventually.
It's good.
And how you went about creating it, and what where you got there. So like, let me just start off. What has been your journey with pets?
Well, it's my journey in my life has been really wonderful and fabulous. And I'm a designer here in Los Angeles, California. I've designed studios, I've designed stores in Tokyo around pets. And because I've done so many events around, just life events, people started coming to me and saying, hey, we have a pet rescue. We're doing an event. Will you help us design the event and throw the event with us? And I'm like, yes, I'll do that. And I donate my time and efforts and my team and all that to build the event for them. And during this, I just kept falling into these pet events. I started getting known as the go-to guy to actually do your event for your foundation. And I was like, what is going on here? And then from there, I started designing stores in Tokyo called Fifi and Romeo. And she was the owner of the store, was the girl who actually designed all the clothes for Legally Blonde, the movie, for Reese Witherspoon and the dog carriers. And
Yeah.
it was such a success that she opened up a store here in Los Angeles called Fifi and Romeo, and all the stars, Paris, everybody started buying their clothes and their dog carriers to match. And it became like this hot thing. And then Tokyo got a hold of it and she started opening stores there. So when I designed my first pet event, I actually went to her store and started looking at it. And I said, because you're one of the main sponsors of the event, I'm going to go ahead and stylize the whole event like your store. And people walked into this big Paris theme event, Fifi and Romeo style, and they were like, wow. And I love when I hear wow when people walk into my events, because that's what I love to do, is have the wow factor. And it just kind of grew from there. And then one day Bravo called me and said, hey, Lisa Vanderpump is actually getting ready to launch her foundation for Yulon Festival to save the dogs from their festival where they eat the dogs. And I was like, oh my God. And they go, can you help us design the event for Lisa? I know. I'm like, I didn't know much about it until I met Lisa and we started talking about it. And so I was on the Beverly Hills Housewives doing this event with Lisa and just really promoting it and designing it. And while I was there, I was like, okay, something's going on here. So we're always looking for vendors to actually support our events, to like sponsor it, to donate product that we could give away. And during one of the visits with Lisa, we had another event in the park with her. There was all these different vendors there. And prior to this, my partner and I, we started looking at a lot of different products out there, because it was like the whole CBD craze that everybody was getting on. So I started looking at it for pets. And every time I picked up one of the bottles, I started to notice they were all kind of the same thing. They were all kind of white labeled, same products inside, maybe one herb or two herbs. And I tried them out with my friends, and they were okay. And the magic happened at the Lisa's event in the park. I met Dr. Kyle. He's a doctor, herbologist, and studied herbs and formulas and all that. And I was like, wow, you've got an interesting product here. And he goes, well, I'm like, tell me about it. And he told me all about it, how he came about it. He went to visit his brother. His brother's dog had allergies. And he's like, well, let me go back to my studio and let me make something up for you, or, with the herbs like I do for my clients, my human clients, and I'll send it to you. And sure enough, he sent it to his brother, and the brother called like a week later. He's like, oh my God, Zoe stopped scratching. Her hair's starting to grow back on her hot spots where she had scratched away her fur. And she's seems like she's got a lot more energy. And Kyle's like, wow, I'm onto something here. This is great. So then Dr. Kyle started telling his clients about this. And meanwhile, all his clients were using the herbal formulas that he was designing for them. And one said, well, my dog's got arthritis. What do you have for arthritis? And he created something for arthritis, for pain, and gave it to her. And she's like, oh my God, this is a miracle. She goes, my doctors give me all these pharmaceuticals, all these, topicals that are pharmaceuticals, and they cover up the pain for a second, but they don't really, it's not a long lasting. And then that's the magic behind the herbs that I've learned, is that we work from the inside out. So we go to the heart of the problem, and we start working. The herbs work on their way out. And the Chinese have been using this. They've been using this for over, hundreds or thousands of years almost, on themselves and on their own animals. So that started the conversation with Dr. Kyle, and I sat there and I said, wow, I love your product. I've tried it on my friends' dogs. We've tried it on, rescue dogs, and it's fantastic. We have No More Drama, which is for anxiety, and that's one of our biggest sellers. And I said, I would like to work with you somehow. I said, have you ever heard about white labeling? Because I thought maybe I'd take his product, put my name on it, and sell it, just to be able to bring it to the market.
So to the audience out there, what is white labeling? So just so people can get a really good understanding of that.
So white labeling is where somebody, if you buy from Amazon, let's say,
yeah,
a lot of those products are white labeled. It's the exact same product, but made by the same manufacturer, but it's got a different label on it. And that's what white labeling is. So that's why when you go to Amazon, you type in massage gun and you see 20 massage gun, but they all look the same, but they're all from different manufacturers. Well, they're all been white labeled for that manufacturer.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, hey, my name is Isaac, and I see a product that I like. I could just go there, wrap a label over it, and it's the exact same product that John is selling, but John's got his label.
Exactly. And you guys are competing with prices, and but there's really, that's the only difference, is the look of the packaging and the price maybe. And so I mentioned that to Dr. Kyle, and he had the same question. He's like, what's white label? So I told him. And so he's like, well, no, I kind of don't want to do that. He goes, I really like who you are. I like your passion for pets and what you've done. You've really taken time to investigate and try and vet our product. He goes, I would like you to become my partner. And so I actually became partners with Kyle, and I took his brown box and I rechanged the box to make it look really cute like this. And I made it really super easy, fun using. And so I made it, because I'm a designer, I'm an artist. So I put my art to work. And, but it's not about for me, it's not about the package really. It's about what's inside of it. So that's really my journey. And so since we've launched back in 2019, he started in 2016. Together, we started in 2019. And every time I get a phone call from a pet parent calling me saying, Michael, thank you so much. You have no idea how much you've changed my pet's life. And I'm like, well, it's our formulas. It's like the herbs are just magical. Because going back to the white label, when I was looking at all the different products, they all had some sort of CBD oil and then one or two ingredients. Well, if you look at our products, we have probably 15 to 20 different herbs in each product of ours that are different for each one of our products that really target the issue that's going on. So Dr. Kyle really goes into the lab and, he studied this, and he just understands what each herb does for and how they work together. And so our product is, it's just, for me, I love helping pets, and if I could find a way that can help pets holistically, organically, let me do it. And that's,
Yeah.
kind of like my podcast. And then when I started my podcast was back in the beginning of the pandemic, when you heard of Clubhouse. Remember Clubhouse?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
how I initially found out about you, was when we were working with Dr. Katie Woodley. Dr.
oh,
Katie Woodley is like, you got to get in touch with Michael. He's got an amazing product, and we both know how amazing Dr. Katie. She's a holistic veterinarian. So anything that she recommends, and that's, I was like, okay, I've got to meet you, and then we've been talking about your products. So yeah, sorry to cut you off there. Tell me a little bit more about your Clubhouse journey.
so Clubhouse. So I got on Clubhouse, and I thought I was going to go into Clubhouse. My husband actually told me about Clubhouse, got me signed up, and so I went, and I thought I was going to talk about design, my life in design, and how I work with architects and builders, and really just fine tune things, design furniture. And then I started looking at the pet section inside of Clubhouse, and I noticed that there was like a bunch of people looking for information, and there was like Dr. Katie, there was other specialists from around the world on Clubhouse, but they were all over Clubhouse, doing a room here, doing a room here, doing a room here, and I was like, okay, what's the solution here? I always look for a solution.
Yeah,
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to create my own room, and I'm going to be the host, and I'm going to interview all these people. I'm going to interview nutritionists, like Dr. Katie, people that do food, dog food, cat food. So I started interviewing all these people, and it was funny because people started calling me the Oprah of Clubhouse, because I would be,
yeah,
and they would tune in, and they'd never know who my next guest was going to be. And it was really wonderful. And so I learned so much just being on Clubhouse. And it was from there, people started asking me, are you recording these? Can you record these? And Clubhouse was really strict on how you record. And I had to jump through all these hoops to be able to record. And I finally got that done. And that created Michael the Pet's Journey. And, we talk about, like, once again, is your dog overweight? What does it mean if your dog's overweight? Why do you want to know if your dog's overweight? Or what are you feeding your dog? Are you feeding them kibble? Are you feeding them raw? Are you cooking for your dog? So all these topics we talk about. And I just, working with these experts around the world, just really opened my eyes and just really made me even more of a pet advocate, that I just want to share more information and get more pets taken care of. And so that kind of like created the YouTube channel. And it's just, I'm excited to be able to do this with you, to be able to share this information, because if we can help just one pet or two pets out of this conversation, that's one more that got help that wasn't going to get help.
yeah, 100%. I think that's one thing that how we came about, and that's why we started Pet Summits, was just being pet parents, and we're navigating through the world of what, the information out there. What's the right information? Who are you telling from? Is it big pharma? And then what the stuff that's going into pet food, and then even just understanding the labels, the ingredients. Yeah, it's like you got this CBD oil, and it's got all these big fancy words, and then none of that stuff does anything for you, because your body can't, because the body of your pet or your animal can't even absorb the
Yeah.
product. So that goes into kind of like the next question is, tell me a little bit more, and what is the magic behind Healthy Paws formulas?
The magic is it's number one, it's holistic. It's all organic. We have it with CBD and we have it without CBD. And the one we have with CBD does not have THC in it, so it doesn't affect the motor skills of the animal. It just gives all the properties of the cannabinoids and that CBD has to offer, which is so wonderful for the animal, along with the 20 herbs that are with it. So our non-CBD has the 20 herbs without the CBD, but those herbs are really the magic behind it. The CBD gives it a boost, for the animal. And so that's really the magic. We've had so many people come to us with dogs or cats with allergies, and their vets are always prescribing these pharmaceuticals, and those pharmaceuticals are really hard on the kidneys and on the liver, where our herb herbal products are not. They just enhance. It's this, if you wake up every morning, you had a fresh juice that you squeezed yourself, it's going to be
Yeah, yeah.
healthier. It's going to be healthier than you going to McDonald's and buying a juice.
Even your grocery store, and I love it when they say like the fresh orange juice, and you and you can just tell it's just full of sugar,
Yeah.
but it tastes so good. It tastes good. But you try your own like freshly grown, and I can tell the difference between organic oranges and it's grown from an organic farm, and the oranges that are just straight from the supermarket. And when it's been sitting there for a month and still not rotten, you're like, that's that's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, that's one thing that's really important to us is that, all our products, if I always tell people this, it's funny. It's like I had a back surgery a couple of years ago, and I would take our ouchie for any pain that I was having, because the herbs would actually smooth out the rough edges of the pain that I was having, instead of me having to go to a pharmaceutical and take a pain pill or something like that for the pain that I was having. I would take our ouchie, and they're all pharmaceutical grade products in here. The hemp oils, pharmaceutical as well.
So what's
So
an ouchie?
ouchie, what's in ouchie?
Yeah.
Here, I got a little cheat sheet, so I'm going to go to my cheat sheet ouchie here, because there's so many herbs here, and you're going to ask me. The crazy thing is too, it's like all these herbs in ouchie and pain. I sit there and I look at them. It's it's like bachi, changdong, hakis, dai hung, and I may not be pronouncing these 100% correct, but just so you know, I mean, it just goes down. There's Sing and Song, there's Yahang, there's silver, there's Feng Fang. So there's all these Chinese herbs. So they're all Chinese herbs. And those,
Formulated by Dr. Kyle, yeah.
like,
So that's
yeah,
and that's the science of it.
that's the science of it. It's really, it's not just like, oh, let's throw. And that's what I was finding going back to the white label. It's like everybody was throwing in the same herb, because everybody's like, oh, let's put in this one. And everybody was putting that one into their product. And it was kind of like the same thing. They were just copying everybody else, where we're actually formulated from a doctor.
Yeah, and I think that's also pretty key, and not just the formulation, but the sourcing of the ingredients. They're, how are the ingredients sourced? Is going back to what we were talking about before, whether it be organic and as a chemical free, and then the harvesting, where it's coming from, and even just the soil that it's growing in, and then the mythology that goes behind it. So there's a lot there's a lot more in depth than just that. Okay, I've got this herb and it's got all
Let's
these.
throw it in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in there. Yeah, cool.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
I want to say something on that, because I love that you brought that up. It's like, some people have like this perception of like herbs or anything coming from China. Can they really trust what's coming from China to be what it is? And so all our herbs are Chinese herbs, but they're sourced here at an organic farm here in the United States, so that we know that the quality is that there's no lead in the ground. There's no, like you're talking about, everything that you just mentioned. We have strict, guidelines that we, go by with the herbs that we select. So we actually buy them from a local a grower here in the United States that is certified and tested.
Yeah, it's good to support local, especially this time of day, like where I'm a big advocate. I get all my food for myself from a local organic, and plus I'm a little bit lazy, so it's this packaged food, but it's all organically grown and it's all locally grown from a local farmer. So just giving back to the community is also a really, but then you also know what's actually in your soils, and then it's like, well, what area, and we're fortunate here in Australia. We are on a small island, in America, being a big country that you guys are, understanding where your products are coming from, or the herbs and the ingredients are coming from, and where their source is probably a real key component and benefit to the success of your products.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess like we'll finish off with the last question today. Tell us a little bit. How do you advocate for pets?
Well, you could see, like, you see the little poster pictures behind me. One of the things we do, I'm an artist, and so I designed all the characters for our packages and all that. And so what we do is we like here in Los Angeles, we work with a rescue called Wagmore,
Wagmore.
and Wagmore Pet Rescue.
Wagmore Pet Rescue. So we'll put that in our Facebook group as well, so people can find out a little bit more about them.
Yeah, I'll send you the information. Okay.
Perfect.
And so what we do is like we'll have an art show, and we'll display these animals all through the art show. We just did one actually in November. We're actually doing another thing with them this Saturday. And so every time somebody buys one of these photos, and they hang it on their walls, they know that they're supporting like rescue animals. So we donate our product to Wagmore, so they get in like rescues all day long. And the big one that they use all the time is they use this one right here, No More Drama, and that's for anxiety, because so many dogs are coming off the streets and there's just so, they're a wreck. And so this has been a lifesaver. In fact, we didn't even realize how much they were using it, because like what we would do is we created this package called the New Pet Parent for anyone that would rescue a pet from them, that they were able to give them a package of the New Pet Parent, which was the two products that were in it was No More Drama, and then Poo Poo Problems, which is diarrhea. Because a lot of times when a dog goes from one home to another home and the food changes, they have diarrhea. So we send these off with the New Pet Parent. Well, we found that the workers were sneaking the No More Drama out of the package and giving it to the dogs that were having all the anxiety. So then we actually created a whole new system for them to be able to give to the dogs without taking it out of the package.
That's amazing. I don't know if you've been watching, and then probably haven't, but we just recently had some really, really bad floods here in Australia, and just down the road from me actually, and a couple of veterinarians that I work with closely have been helping a lot of the pets that have been taken out of their homes, and there's a lot of pets that are being rescued right now. And but the biggest thing is the anxiety now that there's so much trauma that's going on through them. Over the pandemic, so many people were adopting pets, and then like it being fully overwhelmed, where there's a couple of issues where they're now going back to work, so the pets are like, well, hold on, wait, we had you at home all the day. Now you're not here. And then you got the rescue animals where you don't know what they've had, and they've been rehomed. There's so many issues in that. So I think the anxiety is a big problem that a lot of pet parents face. So that's really cool. You guys are doing that.
Yeah, and you touched on another big thing, the pandemic puppy. And I want to just with that a lot, because being on Clubhouse, I created a room called the Pandemic Puppy, and people are like, well, what's this about? Well, this is where so many people went out during the pandemic because they were home, they were working from home, they were alone. And so they went out and they started rescuing all these pets. And like you said, when they rescue a pet, you don't know what that pet's life was before you got it. So they could have had anxiety or whatever, but just the whole thing. So then they come into your home, and during the pandemic, they were with them 24/7.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see people go back to work, and all of a sudden people are calling us up going, oh my God, I don't know what to do. My dog was like, he's a maniac. He was never a maniac before. And now he's like a Tasmanian devil, and it's because they were so used to being with their parents 24/7 that now they're not with them, and they don't know what to do, and they're like, where did you go? I'm abandoned. And so they have that separation anxiety. And so No More Drama for us has been such a great savior for those pets, because it really just allows them to recondition them. And what's nice is by using our formulas is, once an animal is on, like, let's say Itchy Scratchy, let's go to Itchy Scratchy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Itchy Scratchy. Yeah.
Okay, so Itchy Scratchy, once an animal's on this with all the herbs, like I said, we work from the inside out. And you've talked to Dr. Katie about this, working, starting at the gut, versus starting a topical and just being like a Band-Aid. So we started it, so it works the way itself out. And what this does, it balances out their system, so they can start to fight off the allergies, because their system has been so beat up with the allergies that, just by putting a Band-Aid or taking a Benadryl, that a lot of times doctors will say, cut a Benadryl in half and give it to your dog or something like that. That's
Yeah.
just a Band-Aid. This actually helps with the histamine inside the system rebuild itself. So it starts to recalculate their memory of their histamine inside their system and boosting their histamine. So their system starts to reprogram itself to say, okay, I can fight this off now. And eventually they don't have to be on their life. This is just kind of like almost a training tool for their system to learn how to react to allergies.
Yeah, well, go. Everything starts from the gut, and we have so many products that are very topical. And we take it, and it's like, hey, quick fix, and then it comes back again, and then it comes back again. So I think that's a really, really, really cool thing that you do. Is anyone out there? I know we've had a couple of internet, and it looks like it's finally cleared up. If anyone has a question for Michael right now before we close off, please do say so now. And then what we'll do, we'll leave a link. I think we have a link which which I'll put it now, and they just enter in care at checkout. Is that correct, Michael?
Yeah, if they go ahead and do care at checkout, and then they'll get a free travel size of the No More Drama, which is really wonderful, because the travel size, what it does for you is, like, if you're going to go on a plane, you're going to fly you with your pet and you're bringing your pet along, give it to them 20 minutes before you get on the plane, and it just relaxes them and just makes their flight easier for them.
That's one thing that you guys are lucky in North America, that you can, like, I've got a little Frenchie, and you can actually put your little Frenchie in your little carry-on, and it can sit with you. But in Australia, we can't do that because I'm about to go to Sydney to see my nieces for their birthdays, and unfortunately, I have to leave my little puppy behind for a few days. But he's so food orientated. He, as long as my friends that look after him, they give him food, he won't even miss me.
Those Frenchies have got a personality. I love the Frenchies. They're so cute.
Oh, they are. They really are. Well, Michael, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time today. Really love what you guys are doing out there in the pet space. We're going to put a link in our Facebook group for people to find out a little bit more about you. And the checkout, what to add into the checkout to get the travel size package for them. So again, thank you very much. I look forward to speaking to you and working with you, and hopefully I get to come travel very soon, so we can come out. And you got so many amazing stories about your life that just be great to catch up.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll jump in the convertible, and you'll get a tan like me. Look at my tan from California. Hello. But
it's
yeah,
a real tan too, isn't it?
It's a real tan. It's a California tan. But so thank you very much, Isaac, for having me on the show. And I just, once again, we're here to help pets. And I'm so grateful in my life that I have this opportunity to be able to share with pet owners across the world. And just really, we're here to help pets.
Yeah, exactly. And the one good thing is that is coming out of there is like people like yourself, even ourselves, like Pet Summits, and we're connecting with the amazing experts out there, like Dr. Katie, Dr. D. Blanco, Dr. Judy Morgan. We have so many amazing holistic veterinarians that are wanting to just help the pet parents, and we have our platforms, which is what we're good at doing, and we're able to get them exposures. And again, it's just to help our pets, which is our end goal.
Well, I want to say this, because like you were talking about how you like a packaged food that's holistic and all that. People want that for their pets now. Everybody wants to go holistic. They want the best for their pets, and that's our goal, is to give the best for the pets. And that's what my Michael the Pet's journey is all about, is learning what's the best way to raise your dog, to feed your dog, to train your dog, and all that. So I'm glad we're on the same path, and it's been such a pleasure being here today. Thank you so much, Isaac.
Thank you, Michael.